Okay, hello everyone. My name is Florian. I'm a developer at Odoo, especially in the framework team, in the JavaScript part. So I know that on the schedule it was meant to be Adrien that may do the talk. Unfortunately, he was sick the past few weeks, so I took over the talk. So if I do any mistake or if I'm unclear, sorry about it, first of all, and then don't hesitate to find me afterward and we can talk about it without any issue. Then this talk we speak about the testing Odoo. So it's more for the developers, sorry. And it will be split in three main parts. So first I will speak about the Python tests, then the tools, then the JavaScript tests. The main part will be the JavaScript test. Why? Because there is no improvement in between the V10 and V11 for the first two parts. So the Python test is everything the same as in V10, and the tools is everything the same as V10. But the JavaScript tests, since the redesign of the framework and the web client, for the ones that are aware of it, we improve a lot how we can test the JavaScript part. So let's start with a small introduction. One can ask why testing Odoo. It was internally asked a lot as well. I think the main purpose is to ensure the business logic. What I mean by that is that when we develop new features in a software like Odoo that is modular, one feature can have board effect on other one, and sometimes we don't really see it until it's released or until the user tests it. So we want to avoid that kind of stuff, and the testing is the best way to avoid this. Then it can help you to identify bugs. What I mean by that is, for example, when customer send a ticket, you say, okay, on this view I think there is an issue because I want this behavior. So I'm the developer that take the ticket, I do the fix, then I say, okay, I think it's the right fix. I run the test, I see that one test failed. Why? Because we don't want that behavior for some specific reason, technical reason, we don't want that behavior. So the ticket from the customer was not a real bug, was something that we was intended to do. So that's why the test can also help you identify bugs. Then when you have real bugs, you can fix them, create a test for it, and then ensure that these bugs doesn't appear anymore. So that's my two first points. And obviously, using tests allows you to do test-driven development, and it can give you an insight on the software development. In particular, in Odoo, what Odoo offers you for testing is, like I said, the Python test, the tools, and the JavaScript test. Now I will do for each one a small review of how you can implement it and create some. So for the Python tests, what does it do? Actually, it tests the models and their logic, so it's more the server side. The Python test allows you the unit testing. What I mean by that is that since Odoo is modular, we need to test it like small piece by piece and not all of it. So you can test all the module separately. Then there is a system that allows you to share data between your tests. This is great because it avoids to do a lot of entries in your database and create every time the models and each record you want to test. So this can allow you to run the test faster. How you define the test in your module? Actually, you need to create a sub-package called tests, emphasis on the S, because with no S, it will not be automatically inspected by the server. And then one file look a little bit like this. You have a class. Let's say this is for the project, for the base of the project. Then you have the setup class. This is the part where you will define all the data that are shared in every test inside your class. And then you have your list of tests. So for the data creation, for example, here I know that for all my tests, I want a user, and I will create this user in this function. Then what you need to know is that in the setup class, you can use the environment of Odoo. So basically, you can use every basic model that you have in the module that you are testing. So you can reach up very easily. You can do the create, search, and every ORM methods that is allowed in Odoo. Then the tests in itself, you have the choice to also create data specific to the test. So here we create a sale order, and then we make some assert on this sale order. What is important to know for this kind of test is that whatever you do on your database during the test is rolled back after the test. When the test is done, the database is reset to its previous state. So you can do whatever you want in the test. It will not have an impact on your database. And each tests are run separately. So if I here create the sales order, in the next test I will not have this sales order anymore. Okay, the transaction is rolled back automatically. So I will not go more into details for the Python test since, like I said, there is no change since V10, but I can redirect you to the documentation. It's a little bit light, so even more, if you want to create Python tests, you should open Python test file on Odoo. That's the best way to learn how to set up, how to see good example and something that works. Now the tools. The tools are interesting because it uses two ways in Odoo. We use it to do user onboarding. So user onboarding is small tutorials that you can do for your customers that they follow the small button that you click and say, yeah, no, you can create a sales order, no, configure your sales order, and it do the basic flow, the business flow to show your customer how you can use Odoo. Then the tools can be used to perform integration tests. Why? Because it mimics every user clicks. So it really tests the communication between your server and your interface. So when I click on save, I want the save to be done in the server, and the server sends back the right information, and I can check on my view that everything is correct. And so why the tools are really good in testing is because it keeps the whole integrity of your business flow. Because if someone changes something in the server side or in the interface, the flow can be broken, and then you directly see it with the tools. That was not achievable only with the Python test, because in the Python test it's really on the server. Here it's between the two. So how can you launch the tools? There is two ways as well. You can launch it manually inside the web client, and you can automatically execute them with a Python test using Phantom JS. This is what's done in the run bot. Each run bot is built, use Python test to run the tools. So what's new in V11 for the tools is that we wrote a tool that we call it the main flow, and it do a huge business case. So it helps us to really see that we don't break the regular customer flow in Odoo. So I will show you how to launch them manually and what it looks like for the onboarding. So here, that's why I meant with the onboarding. So I just launched a new database, I arrive, it says, okay, now you can click on the sales, why organize your sale activities, I click inside, and there it says, okay, let's create your first quotation. And that's how you show the customer what is the normal business flow you need to have in Odoo. But if you want to do the tool to test really quickly, you can go in developer mode. Then here you have start tool, and here, for example, I have Studio installed, so I can say, okay, I want to see a new app creation and see if everything is working fine. The tool is launched, and I do nothing, and it simulates all the clicks. So this is really fast and helps you to try the flow directly. So now, how can you write tools? Oops, sorry. Tools are a series of steps. So each step is one click in the interface. So here you can see the main key, the most important key is the trigger one. It's a key that will take a jQuery selector, and the jQuery selector will click on the DOM element when it finds it. You can have the content, that's what is written for the onboarding, and the position is the position of the small button in the onboarding as well. Then you have the extra trigger. The extra trigger is something that will delay the click on the trigger until this DOM element is visible as well in the DOM. So For the step, I will stop there as well because there is nothing that new. There is other keys that you can find in the code, like automated steps that are done when you run the tour automatically, but not done automatically when it's for the user onboarding and stuff like that. But I will go in the main part of this talk is the JavaScript test. So the JavaScript test is used for the interface. So for example, we create a form view and then we see that in the form view, every field, every widget are correctly displayed. In V11, why it's new, it's more because of the redesign of the web client architecture. It allows us to mock any web client configuration. So we can create a new view, mock the server and everything. I will show you a bit after. It's really easy to do. And then you can test even the asynchronous case to try out your race condition. You know, when you create a one-to-many, you need that the record was created in database before doing other stuff on the view or load something else with the on-change. Everything that can be tested. And to give you an insight on how we work on the test in V11, in V10 it was only 4,000 line of code and 700 assertion. In V10, sorry. In V11, it's 30,000 line of code of tests and 4,600 tests. So we create a lot of them to be sure that the JavaScript code is more robust when we make change. We introduce new widget, we change the way that the widget works. That's an example of a really small test. This one create a form view with the create view helper. This is a method that will allows you to give an arch, some parameters, it will create a view. Then I just do an assertion to see that my field is really displayed inside the view. This is the most basic example that you can have. And how do you launch these tests? There is this rule that exists already in V10 called /web/test that will run all the tests. Here you can see that I completed 917 tests and all the insertion. You can filter, and when you have error, you can rerun only the test that failed and see the error, even display really the web client to see how it looks and why it failed. Then, so since we don't do communication with the server for the JavaScript test, we need to mock this server. This is done with the MockServer. This will mimic all the server responses to every RPC calls. So for the basic test that you want to create, you don't need to take this into account. It's already done in the code, so the create, the search, the save, everything is already mimicked by the MockServer. But what is great is that you can override the mock RPC server and intercept the RPC calls. So here in this example, I override it with the function. I see that the method call is right, because why? I want to be sure that my click on save, for example, go to the right function and really say to the server, okay, now I want to do right. So I make an assertion inside. So with this mechanism, you can intercept every RPC calls, the one that you create yourself, the root, everything you can intercept, and then will do whatever you want inside. Now, a little bit more complicated case is the asynchronous one. So here, I have a form view with a button. You know that in the web client, when you click on a button, the time that the action is done by the button is disabled. So I want to test this, but since the tests are synchronous, I want to simulate the asynchronous part. So I create a deferred. I click, let's see, here, I click, I verify that my button is enabled, then I click on it, then I verify that the button is disabled, and then only resolve the deferred that will here trigger the data on success. So this can mimic all the asynchronous behavior that you have in Odoo. So, in conclusion, what I can say about the test in Odoo is that you should do some, you should create some, obviously. And there is 3 ways to test it: the Python test, the tools, and the JavaScript test. Each of them have some specificities, so you should use the 3 of them together. Okay, and what in Odoo we try to do, and it was not the case before, create a lot of tests, test more and more for the run board to be read when we broke something, and to do more test-driven development. And in V11, the most improvement that we have done is for the JavaScript, and thanks to the team, the framework team, and the work on the new architecture, it allows us to test pretty much everything for the JavaScript. So thank you for your attention. I hope I was clear enough. Sorry if I was a little bit too quick at the end. If you have any question, I'm here right there. I'm here for the 3 days. And tomorrow morning, we have workshop with the JavaScript expert, where you can just come by and ask any question you have on the web client, the views, the tests, anything. We will be there to answer them. Okay. Thank you.